Hey everybody, it's Janelle with Craftersations. Thanks for stopping by again. If you don't have your craft, go get it. Hit pause or just step away for a minute. You won't miss anything important. And if you do have your craft, if you're going to use this as an excuse to make something, work on a project, let me know what you're working on in the comments, okay? I am still working on that crochet commission. Thankfully, my customers, she's very petite, and so when I was making this for myself, I used a larger size in the pattern. And so in my head, I assumed it was going to take the same amount of time. It's amazing when you're making a smaller sweater, it comes together faster. So for her, we've got, so this is the back part. And now I'm working on the sleeves. And this should be the part now where the sleeves actually start to decrease back down again. And I'll start to form. In fact, you can see the neck is starting to form. It only works one side at a time. So I'll work the right sleeve first, and then the neck and the front panel will shape. And then I go back, reattach, and then I'll work the left side basically in reverse as a mirror image. And then I just add the ribbing around the neck and the cuffs to finish it off. So yeah, so that's where I'm at. Like I said, if you've got a work in progress, let me know. Let me know what you're doing. And if you choose not to craft while we chat, it's totally fine too. Enjoy a beverage, maybe sit outside, and if the weather's lovely where you are, go soak in a little bit of nature. All right, let me resettle myself here and remind myself where I'm at with the pattern. Okay, I think we're good. So one of the gals that I follow on Instagram, she's both a crafter and I guess everybody on Instagram is trying to be an influencer, right? But she's also an influencer, and she's like a content creator advice giver, I guess. She tries to help out small businesses figure out the most effective ways to market themselves, or just to increase their following to support their business. And she's adorable, super creative, and very engaging to watch. And so I've tried to, learn from her a little bit, because when you're a small business, you're also the PR person and the marketing person and the promoter, and who knew that, we'd have to take on all of these different hats just because we want to maybe try to monetize our craft. But in this particular little post, she was talking about I don't know if she used the word pressure, but this inclination that we have nowadays to try to monetize everything, right? Monetize every skill you have, monetize every hobby you have, and just questioning whether this was a good thing. And I'm definitely guilty of this. And I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have even considered it possible without the reach of the internet. Because otherwise, my pool is very limited. My family's only going to buy so many things from me and my friends. And until especially it feels like kind of like extortion, right? Like they love me and therefore they are supporting me. But with the reach of the internet, all of a sudden you have what feels like an almost infinite potential customer base. And with all the different social media platforms, and of course, you hear about those one-off cases where they go big, they go viral. Their small business explodes and they get to quit their day job and, they get to do what they love full time. And so there's, I guess I was a sucker for that too. It's alluring to be able to think that you could somehow, with just a little bit of reach, become that person and get to do what you love as your full-time job. But it does end up turning all of your hobbies into work, right? And when something becomes work, it changes how you enjoy it. You don't get to enjoy it just for itself anymore. You value it because of its monetary reward. It's definitely not the same. And one of the things that she was getting at is, maybe we should keep some of our hobbies just for ourselves, so we don't lose that inherent, simple enjoyment that comes from just doing something that we love for ourselves, not because we can put a price tag on it. So that definitely made me kind of rethink, reevaluate. Because there's so many things that I love to do. And it seemed like an innocent enough thing to go, well, if I can do things that I enjoy and somehow find people who are willing to support me with their hard-earned money while I do it, what harm could possibly come from that? And I don't know that I've seen consequences yet because I'm super small time. Like the 5 people that regularly follow or watch, and then maybe the hundreds of others who passingly loan me some of their time and attention. I'm not huge. So there's no pressure to feel like I have to somehow scale up or ramp up my operations, so to speak, and kind of, I don't know, ruin the love that I have for the craft by trying to pump out more, do more, meet other people's demands or ideas of what my craft should be. So I'm nowhere there. And some things I try to monetize more than others, like the book folding. I've definitely heavily monetized with the patterns on Etsy, the craft fairs. I mean, that really is the focus of the craft fairs, even though I do other stuff. So the book folding has probably become my most heavily monetized hobby. But it's something that's so unique. People don't see it. Like when I'm at craft fairs, maybe they've seen it through social media, but they've never actually seen it. They've never actually met somebody who does it. And so its uniqueness increases its inherent value. And so I feel like I get what it's worth because it's unique. Whereas my other crafts that I've been doing forever, whether it's crochet, cross stitch, I feel like those are dismissed a little more, whether they're because they're considered traditional or people see them more frequently, and so they assume that it must be easier because more people are doing it. I know that I don't get the full value of the time and effort that I put into those pieces. So those hobbies I have kept more for myself. And so when I sit down and do a cross stitch, or when I'm working on crochet, even like this commission, because it's for a friend, my mind is in a different place when I'm doing it. when I'm book folding, unless it's a personal project, it does definitely feel more disconnected. It feels less personal. And I think that changes the kind of enjoyment that I get out of it. So with crochet and cross stitch, it's definitely more for me. I'm doing those crafts because it is rewarding to my soul. Whereas with the book folding, it keeps my hands busy, and I do definitely get a sense of productivity. But I also know that there's going to be compensation outside of myself for that. So it is different. And I think it definitely made me just rethink, like, how much should I try to monetize what I do? Even writing. So like I just started a few weeks back with a Substack. Because I used to write all the time, and I actually did have dreams of being a published writer, and I don't know that those dreams ever really went away. That's one of those lovely things that at any point in my life, if or when, I find myself back in that space where I'm productively writing again, I could pursue, publishing a book if I really wanted to. But I stopped writing for quite a while. I think because writing for me is so different. There's no multitasking when I write. When I craft, I can multitask. I can feel like I'm getting multiple things done at one time. Writing does not leave room for your consciousness to not be fully engaged. Like when I'm writing, it's like when I'm reading. An hour can pass by and I won't even realize. All of a sudden it's just dark outside. I'm like, oh, how long have I been sitting at this computer? Like it is a full immersion experience when I write. And I think for a long time, at the start of my marriage, and then I had kids, and then as a starting out teacher, that just took so much creative energy and just emotional energy. I don't think I had anything left over for writing. I don't think I had the time or the space to let myself fall into writing like I used to in college, in high school. So now I'm getting back into writing, and I forgot how much I enjoy it. The interplay of words and figuring out the best way to craft a sentence so that the person isn't just reading your words, but they're hearing the words from your mind, the way that you felt them. It's fun. But I'm publishing now on a Substack with the hopes that my words, my writing will resonate with other people enough that not only will they enjoy the writing and join me in that space that I've created in my head, but that they might be willing to monetarily support me as well. But again, writing was always something that I did for myself, but there was always that hope in my mind that at some point I might, be published. And not in just like a voluntary type publication, but where there might actually be royalty checks involved. So writing has become, one more thing that I'm putting out into the world, feeling it out, I guess, to see what might come back to me. And even hiking, because hiking is one of the things that I write about on that Substack. So even my hobby of hiking has been roped into, can I do something more with this than just the personal enjoyment and benefit of it? So I don't know. Maybe I'm overextending myself. Maybe I am trying to get too much out of the hobbies that otherwise would simply be feeding my own mind and my own soul. Dancing I have not monetized yet. Not yet. I never will. Dancing is truly something I do for myself. It would never even occur to me to try to do anything with that. Yeah. So, if you've got thoughts on this, do you think that we've become too much of a monetized society where we're trying to sell little pieces of our soul to whomever will buy it in the hopes that we get more out of it than just our own personal enjoyment? Do you think there's going to be downstream consequences for having this mentality right now, where it seems like just put it out there, somebody will pay for it? I don't know. I'm still pondering myself, I think, because I'm in the middle of it. So we'll see where it goes. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that excuse to sit and craft and chat for a while. And have a great rest of your day, depending on, or night. Not sure when you're listening or watching this. And as always, cheers and happy crafting.